second. Give me a few seconds. I'm kidding. Ready? All right. Welcome to the first ever Hunt League Outdoorsman of the Year. So tonight we are selecting the Outdoorsman of the Year from 2020, and I want to give some people an idea. I've had some people ask today, how do you become a finalist in the Outdoorsman of the Year? So I want to kind of give you a quick briefing of what it is. Hunt League is a mobile app that you download. It's a field tool where you can log and record everything, all of your experiences in the field. So if you've got the app and you want to know, well, how would somebody become a finalist? How do you rank this? Let's take a quick look. So from the home screen of the app, you've got a little shield, which will, if you tap that shield, it's going to take you to the leaderboard. If you tap the shield once you're on the leaderboard, it will show you where the ranks are. So if you've got, go back one, Rachel. So you can go from novice to legendary. So you've got novice, greenhorn, greenhorn 1, 2. So if you look at there, I am listed as JNew Hunter 2. So that's my rank. If I want to filter in the leaderboard, I can filter by species. How do I do as a caribou hunter? How do I do as an elk hunter, a deer hunter, a duck hunter? You can see where you fit with any species or method of take. You also have the ability to look at the daily rank. So if I want to see, well, how did I compete against other users on Hunt League on a specific day or in a specific year, you can. Then if you tap somebody's profile, you're also able to see things like how many scouts they've logged. In the top one under daily, that's going to show how many they've logged over the lifetime. If you look at the year, it'll show how many they've logged this year. So here we've got Andrew, Wisconsin, that has already logged 2 hunts since the beginning of this year. So that's a little look at the leaderboard. So one of our qualifications for becoming a finalist is that you would place well on the Hunt League leaderboard. We'll get into a little bit more of that here in a bit. But the second thing is that you're active on the Hunt League community page. So let's take a look at the Hunt League community page. How do you access the Hunt League community page? What does it mean to be active on the community page? Well, you access the community page by first tapping that little community icon in the upper right corner of the app. That's going to lead you to a feed, and similar to what you would see on Instagram or Facebook, where you can scroll through and see, like that one was from actually earlier today, a guy named Jordan Linscomb here in Colorado. His father was able to harvest an elk. The son was able to sit the gut pile and got out later. You can tap the save button, see what weapon was used on this specific hunt. All of those details get entered in automatically as you start a hunt. Now, how do you log a hunt is kind of the next question. So how do I score points in it? So you can look at a hunt log, which is on the home screen of the app in the bottom left. If you tap that, it'll take you to your hunt logs. Each of these hunt logs is going to be from a single day in the field. This is an example of a pronghorn hunt that I had back in October. You know, you have everything from sightings. You can put field notes. You can add videos, pictures. If you tap a picture, it will expand and get larger. And you can basically record all the details of a hunt. You can share that information with just select buddies. All of this is private. It's not out there for the whole community, but you can choose buddies that you might hunt with, share that, and then you have the choice, do I want to share GPS information or not with them? So that's what a hunt log is. So your points come from your hunt logs. Your hunt logs come every time you start an activity. Here in a little bit, I'll show you how to get started with an activity. But just so you had a good idea, that is how we came, going back to the leaderboard. We're celebrating our top 3 finalists for the 2020 Outdoorsman of the Year. Before we dive into that, I want to introduce you to our judges panel. So first up, we've got Brian Strickland, who I met several years ago. My daughter and his youngest daughter were actually in preschool together. Brian is an avid hunter, writes for several different outdoor magazines. I'll introduce you to Brian here. So Brian, welcome. And I'm going to have you go ahead and just, introduce yourself. Give us a 30-second bio. who you are as a hunter, how you're connected, and I just want you to know thank you for being a part of this very first ever Outdoorsman of the Year challenge. So go ahead and take it away, Brian.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you asking me to do this, and I'm glad I was able to do that. I've watched this app grow as I've known you, and it's been exciting watching it expand like this, and many other people getting on it and learning about it. But me as a hunter, I hail in Colorado. I've lived here in Colorado for about 25 years now. I got a wife and 3 kids. Most of my kids like to hunt, but my youngest daughter is the one that really likes to hunt, and she actually killed more stuff than I did this year. But from a hunting standpoint, I really love deer, whitetails, and mule deer are probably my favorite, and also love to travel to far-flung locations, Alaska, Canada, and places really out west to do a lot of hunting for different species. So.
Now, I will say that you're more successful than you did here because you chose to spend a week of your season hunting with me, and that usually doesn't bode too well for the people that come with me, but we tried.
Yeah.
So that's Brian Strickland, one of our judges. Honored to have you, Brian. You're a true outdoorsman like the other judges. So I want to introduce you guys to our second judge in our panel. Would you guys welcome Keith Naylor? Keith Naylor, some of you guys may know him as Spike Bull Outdoors. And Keith from Spike Bull, we met via Instagram, and Keith's one of those guys that he's posting stuff, and I like it because he always keeps things clean. You can tell the guy is out hustling. He's setting up trail cameras, outdoorsman. It's an honor to have you, Keith. Keith is relatively new to the HuntLeague app, just kind of started exploring it a little bit last year. And when I was looking for judges, it wasn't necessarily judges that have used or are super familiar with the app. I wanted to find the best outdoorsman I could. And Keith, you're one of those guys that I looked at and I said, man, this guy's a true outdoorsman. So thank you for coming on as one of our judges. Go ahead and tell our viewers tonight, like, who you are.
Thanks for having me on. That's high praise. But yeah, I'm from Southern Utah. Grew up hunting western big game in Colorado and Arizona. Spent some time back east, but I've been in Utah now for about a decade. And yeah, I really hunting for me is always a time and a money thing. So I pick up this over-the-counter spike elk tag every year, and I just go out and I hunt spike elk. And so I've got a pretty good track record going. I get lucky a lot, and so I've kind of made a thing out of it. And I take a lot of teasing about it, but it's all in good fun.
No, I love it. Now, Keith, what is your favorite animal to hunt?
Oh, it's by far elk. They're absolutely my spirit animal. I love to chat. I don't necessarily need to run trail cams for the hunt that I do every year, but I do it just because I love studying their behavior and learning them, and getting out there in the field and being where they are.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Such incredible animals. So thank you, Keith, for joining. Again, honored to have you. So in my underwear, waking up, getting out of my truck, thinking nobody else is going to be awake at this time. I had killed a bull the day before, and I had spent the 12 or 15 hours. I think I'd finished at 2 in the morning getting some quarters off. I still had 2 more loads to get off, and this day's just starting. Dale's getting out of his truck. He's getting ready to take an e-bike up this hill. And years I've never back. So Dale has friends, because somebody that you just meet, a stranger that will hike, get that the hunter that Dale is. So Dale, go ahead and just give us a quick snapshot of who you are, a bio, if you will, and then we'll jump into the rest of this competition.
Well, you bet. Well, guys, just a sight for sore eyes out in the forest. Well, anyways, I love hunting. Been hunting for years. My heart is with my bow, but I've since gotten some fit more successful with that. But man, I do everything from deer, wild boar, go out to Colorado for elk the last 6 seasons. Um, I tried to teach my son some aspects about hunting and with bow, and he's a sharpshooter too. And just I live near Dallas, uh, just north of Dallas in Fort Worth, and love everything about it.
That's awesome. Well, Dale, again, thank you. I love this group of panelists we have. Are from Oregon, Colorado. I grew up in, and I actually had the opportunity to go back over Thanksgiving, and I hunted with one of the finalists on my 40th birthday. So I think I gave this guy a hug before I gave my wife a hug on that specific day. So, but before we jump into our introducing you to the finalists, I want to recognize. So video here, but our number 4 person, it's not working. Little technical delay. Well, number 5 right there, that's Michael. He's actually, I met him doing taxidermy. That guy is a killer. He killed 2 elk, couple deer this year, turkey. He got after it. That's DJ Dropham right there, who is Dale Baresh, one of our judges, coming there in 6th. 7th place was AJ, all the way from Washington. He got a bear, an elk this year. We got Spike Bull with us. He got a caribou this year, an elk this year. Then we got 2 brothers, Andrew and Benjamin Gawain from Wisconsin. Each of those guys put in a ton of work. It was funny. I was texting one of them earlier today. Andrew and Benjamin, his brothers, have been competing with each other all year. They're sitting at 9th and 10th. Benjamin was able to harvest a bear. Andrew got a turkey, pheasant. I think he got a deer this year. They've been out hunting all the time. So I just wanted to recognize those other contenders that are in the top 10 before I introduce you to our finalists. So all of those guys are worthy and awesome hunters. Could have easily been a finalist. We kind of made decisions again based on where they stacked up on leaderboard, where they were, how active page, that type of thing. And so we've come up with our 3 finalists. I'm going to introduce you to them at this point. So first, let me see how I'm doing this. We've got Trapper John right here from Oklahoma. So we're going to be meeting with Trapper John here in just a second. Trapper John from Oklahoma. He got a pronghorn. Anybody in our daughter holding one of the deer that he was able to harvest. Our next contestant is Peter Mosby. Peter, hang on. Oh, never mind. I jumped ahead. So I'm actually going to take a step back because we've got Trapper John here. So I just gave you a little quick bio. So let me actually see Trapper John. So Trapper John, are you there? Oh, there he is. He's sitting up top.
Yeah,
all
hello.
handsome. How about that mustache?
Yeah.
So John, go
I'm
ahead.
hard, man.
Before we dive into your interview with the panel, go ahead and give us a 30-second bio of who you are and where you're from. Tell us about your family. Tell us, what you're most passionate about hunting, that kind of thing. Just give us a little bit of who you are.
2 kids. I can't get them off electronics to hunt except for whenever it's and I'm able to get out in the woods so much. If it rains, I'm in the woods. to do is wing shoot and chase my bucket list.
That's great. So, so I just want to ask you, you guys have seen, so all the finalists, we've asked them to fill out a questionnaire. We've asked them to submit, send in some hunt logs that they've shared with an account so that we can see how they use the app in the field. We've viewed their community posts and the things that they've posted there. So we've got a pretty good work. So as we look at Trapper John's resume, you know, this guy posted the most hunts and scouts collectively. He spent 50 days in the field this past year. So I'm just going to ask you guys, you know, what do you think makes Trapper John a contender to be crowned or given the title of Hunt League Outdoorsman of the Year? So let's hear from you first, and then we'll go to him.
Keeping the kids occupied and so they don't scare off all the game. Now he's definitely qualified.
No,
I know.
okay,
I mean,
but John,
from everything from. Oh, go ahead.
let's dive in. Let's get John going with you guys. John, here's the rules that we're going to do. We're going to throw 15 minutes up on the clock and give you 15 minutes with the judges where they've got some questions for you. And so it looks like the timer started. So I'm going to back out, let the panel do their job, and get going with this interview.
You state that this pronghorn hunt, this hear more about that. Tell us why it was so special, and tell us about the experience.
So I've been planning this hunt for about 5 or 6 years. I rodeoed for years, and a good friend of mine owns a little over 9,000 acres out in western Oklahoma, and he's been on me the last about 5 years to go hunting with him. And I was like, man, I just can't go. You know, I'm my only employee. You know, I leave during the middle of the week, and then finally, and we just put miles and miles on the side by side in the truck, just driving all over the countryside looking for antelope. And we'd find one, and then we'd turn back and drive a couple miles on side by side through all the fields and try to find the one that we'd saw earlier, and then compare and go back. We did that for like 2 days, and it was exhausting. And I tried to get my wife to let me take my son with me, but he had school. So I was just set in a hotel room by myself, and all I could do is, you know, you just look over and I just see my camo and my guns and my boots, and it's just like, man, I can't go to sleep. So then go to sleep about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Then I'm up at 5 waiting for him to wake up, and it's just you know, just something I'd look forward to for a long time, and finally got to achieve it with a really good friend that I've known since I was 15. And John's older; he's 60-some years old. It was real cool. It was a lot of fun.
Well, in my book, you've earned the kill stash that you're proudly sporting right now.
Yeah, thanks. My wife doesn't like it.
Hey, John, I have a question. I'm going a little out of turn here, but was that a draw tag in Oklahoma? Aren't they draw tags for antelope in Oklahoma, or do residents get to get them over the counter?
No, so I put in for a draw, and I didn't get the draw hunt. I drew a doe tag in Lexington. So I drew that tag, but no, I was unsuccessful. But he draws about 1 to like 3 landowner tags every year, and a lot of times they don't even shoot them. So that's how I got it, and he just transferred it over to me.
Nice to have friends.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you. All right, John. So just looking at your year in review, the thing that jumps out to me is how on earth did you get over the 50 days in the field? Obviously, you told us that you're self-employed, so that helps. So that's probably one of the answers. But is it more or less that what you normally hunt in a year? And then what pushed you to get out like that last year? And what impact did that have on your work and family?
Well, so yeah, I'm self-employed. So I do dirt work, and when it rains, I can't place mud for sod or anything else like that. And when it snows, I can't do anything with dirt. Then so I hunt just straight north of my house about a mile, and it's just convenient. And my wife would go to work, and then I would just go hunting. And I built a blind. So one rainy day, I had a trailer sitting out back, and it was raining. And I told a friend, or I was talking to a friend, he said, "Man, what are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, not much. Just bored. We need to start a project." So yeah, there it is. So I flex sealed the sucker and put a heater in it, put carpet and insulation, and any chance I could get out in the woods or go chase something, that's what I was doing. A lot of times I'd wait for my wife to go to work, and then I would get in the stand and ask for forgiveness and permission, I guess.
I tell you what, I did see that post, and it's good to see it again tonight. I mean, I do look at those. I think I fist pumped you on that whole business, and I think we're all glad to hear you're still married.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah. Well, Trapper John, I have a couple questions for you, but looking at your page, I mean, you've killed a lot of stuff, and you like to kill a lot of species too. I mean, when I look at it, it's wild pigs, coyotes, pronghorns, deer, ducks, geese, dove, basically anything that crawls or flies. You want to put lead in it. And I'm curious. So, what is your favorite animal to hunt?
My favorite is dove and duck. There's nothing like just sitting there in the early morning with some friends, or usually in the evening. Sometimes my kids will go with me, and you can just, where I live, there's not a lot of trees, so you can see birds coming. I don't have good smell, so they say that my eyes overcompensate for it. So I just see them from a long ways away, and then if you got a good breeze in the morning, it's nothing like a couple greenheads or some pintails just cupping in and just floating in on you and just smacking them.
It is. That's fun, man. I haven't duck hunted in a few years, but I remember when I used to go, it was exciting times, especially right at first light, seeing them come in like that. I wanted to add another question though to mine. You mentioned in your bio that you like to chase things that's on your bucket list. I'm curious what is on your bucket list, because I think we all probably have bucket lists.
Yeah, so my bucket list is I want to kill a caribou, bighorn sheep, and it's probably not some people's bucket list, but I want to kill a big mule deer.
No, that's good. That's a good list.
Yeah.
John, in part of this process, you had to submit several photos with your bio, and I commend you. A lot of your photos have pictures with kids in them. Tell me about hunting with your kids. What are some of the challenges? How do you overcome them? And what does it mean to be in the field with your children?
I don't knock my dad for it or anything, but my dad traveled when I was a kid. So I didn't have him around a whole bunch. And so I've always strived just to spend a lot of time with my kids. I don't care if they scare the animals off. It's like the picture with my daughter and her two friends. We just throw up a little hunting blind, and we just tell them, hey, if you hear a duck call, just try to be quiet. And you know, kids, they're going to be kids, and I don't stress them being quiet really. I just want them to be part of it, because that's what memories are made of. And then one day I'm going to look back and they're not going to be kids anymore, and they're going to.
There's no question. Your heart's in the right place there.
All right, I have one for you. So currently you hold first place on the lifetime leaderboard as a duck hunt and goose hunter. Based on your recent community posts, we can already see 2021 is starting off with a bang. What is it that keeps you motivated and hungry to get up early and keep chasing the waterfowl?
Well, you know, I learned from my dad that when you hit the gate at night, you don't bring work home. So it's kind of relief for me. And my internal clock's usually about 3:30 to 4 o'clock, but I don't get out of bed at that time. But you know, usually about 5:30 or 6, you know, I try to drag myself out. But when it comes to hunting, a lot of times, like if my friends come over and we hunt, we'll clean the ducks and I'll cook them right there in my shop. We eat them fresh. We don't wash them off, nothing. We just put some Slappy Mama seasoning and some lime juice on them and eat them. And a lot of times I do it by myself. But it's just good therapy, and just kind of to disconnect from work and just become one with the nature. And there's nothing like drinking coffee and watching the sunrise and watching birds just cup in on you. I love it.
Definitely. I noticed too in your posts that you had several pictures in the snow. About mid-December, it looks like Oklahoma got a nice snowfall, which doesn't happen too often. But you mentioned in your post that you saw a lot of animals that morning out feeding, or maybe it was a whole weekend. I don't know. Tell me about that hunt. Was it just a weekend hunt, just a day? What did you see, and what else did you see that you didn't maybe kill besides I think it was a coyote, a pig, and some birds, I believe.
Yeah, so I haven't honestly gotten to set up decoys and try to kill birds in the snow. And so me and a friend came over, and we got out early, killed some gadwalls right off the bat. And then I had another friend that's a fireman. He called. He's like, hey, man, I'm off shift. What are you guys doing? And like the night before, I'd cleared snow all night. So I didn't get much sleep. And we struck out. I was like, yeah, he asked what we were doing. I was like, man, just come over. We're going to try to kill some coyotes. So we went and looked around, and there's a spot. My in-laws own a bunch of land. And a friend of mine's like, man, I have never shot a hog. I was like, man, they're in here. And man, sure as shit, we look south, and there's a sow eating acorns. And I was like, oh man. So we ran about 125 yards, about 50 yards close, laid down. It probably wasn't 5 minutes, had a coyote, man, dropped him about 10 feet from the critter, shot him right down the throat with the 243. And it was a fast and great hunt. And then we went from there, saw a coyote out in the wheat field trying to peck at some Canadian geese. I got a bunch of geese that land there just north of my house, and we tried to call him in close, and we got him about 250, 300 yards, but he was still on the other side of the fence, so we let him ride.
Nice. Like a great day, great morning.
Oh, it's great. My wife was so mad because I didn't get anything done, and she worked all day.
Sounds like mine.
Yeah.
That's great. I think we have 1:45 left here, so I want to throw this one in there because this kind of I have some things that I do a lot of times, and to keep having any special underwear, a magic hat, rituals, or superstitions that you hold on for good luck in the field. Can you give us any secrets to success that you could share with the rest of us?
No, all I do is I get up, take a good healthy crap, and have a cup of coffee and go hunting.
There you go. I like that.
There you go. All right.
Hey, I got one more question
And
too.
there you have it.
Killing a whitetail there. And we only have less than a minute, but what was that hunt like for her? I mean, what was the emotions and experience that she had? Was that her first deer that she's killed?
But no, I actually killed that buck, and she just wanted to take a picture with it. And I would much rather everybody think my daughter shot than me. And she just got out of the shower. That's why you kind of see her hair's a little crazy. And she just picked him right up. And she makes him look a lot bigger than he is.
There you go, man. That's smart. Good photo work.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, John, this is Jared. I'm going to jump in with the last 5 seconds and just let you finish this off. But did you have any regrets? Anything that walked away? You know, when you get a lot of success in the field, oftentimes there are also some failures that come with success. It's not every day you go to the field you just find yourself successful. So do you have any stories from this year of either the one that got away? Did you have a wood duck come in, a pintail come in, a deer walk by, a wild hog? Do you have any wild fish stories of the one that got away as we close out your time?
Yeah, so opening morning in muzzleloader. I was in the blind, and a monster 8-point just appeared, and he was at 110 yards, and he was working a scrape or a rub, and I pulled my muzzleloader out, and I could not stop shaking. So shot, then he walked down into the creek, came back to the west, and then appeared at like 30 yards, and I pulled my scope up. It was all brown, but I couldn't stop shaking, and I just didn't feel safe taking the shot. And I looked through again, and he jumped the fence, and he's on my neighbor's property. And I sat there watching probably 10 minutes, and he got away. So that's why I hunted so hard for so long, because I wanted that dude on my wall. And we could have killed, I think, like 5 or 6 doe this year. I could have killed a doe every day I was out, but I just wanted that big old bruiser. Wanted him on my wall, but I didn't get him.
Well, John, sorry you didn't get the big 8. There always seems to be at least one that gets away. Experience of shaking. What's funny is, you know, you think, all right, you're a finalist for the Outdoorsman of the Year. You've done this before. That adrenaline is not going to get you. But I think any one of us that's had that kind of opportunity where when the big one shows up, something happens in your heart and the adrenaline gets pumping. And it is, I think every one of us is judges and people listening can identify with that story. So, John, I want to thank you for being on. I want to thank you for being a user on the app, for contributing to the community, for what you did this year, logging the most activities of anybody on the app. So congratulations. You are a well-deserving finalist. You had a phenomenal year in 2020. I wish you good luck in 2021. So at this point now, we're going to let you sign off, and we'll start bringing in our next contestants. So, John, thanks for being with us, and appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks,
all right, let's
Jesse.
jump in. If you are wanting to figure out, well, how do I use the app? I want to just give you a quick tutorial. Like if you've just created an account and you want to figure out, how do I log my first activity? I want you to see right here on the side of the screen, you can see there is from the home screen, there's something where you push the go button. From that, it'll take you to choose a species. You can choose from big game, predator, small game, or birds. You can hunt everything from caribou to bison to bears, wolves, coyotes, foxes, squirrels, rabbits, I don't know, every kind of bird, a grouse, ptarmigan, a pheasant, a quail. So it's all in there. Then you can put in your method of take. You can just select a bow, a rifle. We got pistol, a traditional bow. You can choose one of those things. You can also put the details in. You can see where it says add weapon. You can add as much or as little detail to these hunt logs as you want. Some people want to know, man, what was I using back when I shot that? Or what broadhead did I have on? What arrows was I using during that setup? This helps you keep track of that. But also when you log that, when you post to the community page, it will also show people that are following you or people that see that post. They can click that and see, well, what did he use to harvest that animal? So it's a way that we can also help one another out. Because I would want to see, when I go back to the home screen right here, I see Keith with his caribou, and I'm like, well, what kind of equipment was Keith using on that caribou hunt? Well, if you log that stuff in the HuntLeague app, it allows other people to see that so that they can also be successful in the field. After you put your weapon, it takes you right into a page. You can start logging your sighting. If you click that sighting, it's going to mark your GPS. It's going to take a timestamp. You can put notes, pictures, photos, video, all sorts of things. And that, when you make those entries, that's going to be what goes in your hunt logs. So next big announcement that I have for you. We've got the Android app is coming soon. So I actually, I've said that for a while. I have thought it was going to be sooner than later. But here is a little quick sneak peek. I had Luke, our developer, just so you know that I'm not lying. This is Luke, our developer. This is Android footage from his phone that we're seeing. Doesn't quite look the same. It's not as polished, but we are working on it. People are going to be able to choose what species they're going to hunt. They just put an elk and a wolf, which sadly we're soon going to be seeing here. The elk, not the wolf, but it is what it is. I guess we get what we vote for, and that'll happen tomorrow too. So go ahead and sit back, get a quick video while we transition and get our next finalists on. So take a look at this video, and then we'll have our next finalists up. Audio. The other guy on. I can try to get it going so the audio is working. The next video will have audio. Yeah. All right, we're going to cut from that video. We've got our other contestant on. Sorry, the audio wasn't working. Don't know what happened there, so we're just going to cut early. But that's kind of the introduction video. You can find that video on our YouTube channel, kind of see what all the app does, how it logs, and basically people have been logging hunts since the beginning of time. We see it from ancient cave paintings.
For thousands of years, humans have been documenting their hunts. From ancient cave paintings to the handwritten notebooks of the legendary hunters whose stories captivate our imagination. HuntLeague is a modern take on an ancient tradition, the evolution of documenting and sharing a hunt. HuntLeague is a mobile app connected to lights, a digital camera, microphone, in a secure cloud server, allowing you to log, relive, and share your hunts like never before. With over 50 species of big game, small game, predators, and birds, you'll be able to log every kind of hunt in a private digital journal. Sort your hunt logs by species, month, date, location, and more, learning from your past so that you are better prepared for your next adventure. With the HuntLeague app, you will gain insight into the equipment that you are using. You will be able to see and compare how your season stacks up against other hunters for a specific species or method of take. Add posts and stories to the HuntLeague community page. Around and experience.
All right, there we go. We got our audio back. So I want to introduce you to our next finalists. Again, we are selecting the 2020 Outdoorsman of the Year for HuntLeague. We have 3 incredible candidates. You just heard from John Austin, known as Trapper John. Right now, I'd like to introduce you to Peter Mosby. Peter Mosby from Colorado, an excellent hunter that's not just recognized by the HuntLeague app, but he's made as a total outdoorsman before. So, Peter, thank you for joining us. I'm really excited that you're using the app, that you posted on the community, that you're a part of what HuntLeague is up through this date. So thank you for doing that. And I want you to just take a second, introduce yourself to us. You had a heck of a year. So give us a little insight into who you are, Peter Mosby, H2O runner.
Jared, I have to say it's an honor to even be selected for this. I guess, I'm Peter Mosby, and I am elementary principal, and I have been, I guess the most important thing in my life is I'm blessed with 5 kids and an amazing wife. The other part that I'm lucky to have is, that's without the fantastic wife, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I get to do. But luckily, my kids and Susan, they do those things with me, which is just a huge benefit, a giant bonus. So I've been lucky that I have been able to experience outdoors in many parts of the world. My dad was in the Air Force. We lived in Puerto Rico. He taught me how to dive for lobsters. I was fly fishing and hunting in Colorado since I was 8. I was a commercial sword fishing on a sword fishing boat when I was 15. Lived in the Virgin Islands after graduating from college in mathematics and computer science, where I learned to scuba dive, spear fishing, and I've settled here in Colorado and continue to explore and experience that. Being in education a teacher for 15 years and an administrator for almost another 15. My passion is learning and teaching. And I have so many people to thank to get to where I'm at now. And I am able to share my expertise and my knowledge with kids and adults every year. And that is what I really love to do.
That's amazing, Peter. I love that you've been in education. I was a youth pastor for several years, and it's always been a passion of mine, is pouring into the next generation. A big part of why I created the HuntLeague app was to be able to capture these things in the field and to be able to pass something along to my kids, not just GPS coordinates, but the stories of what was transpiring. Like I want, like you live in Colorado, where we know that they're about to reintroduce wolves. like I imagine like going into places right now where, man, we're hearing elk bugles and we're documenting like, man, we heard this many bugles and we captured the sound of these bugles, because there may be a day in the future where you no longer hear those bugles. And that's a sad day. I don't want to project that day upon us, but some of that is kind of looking like it might be what's in the cards. But I want my kids to know what we experienced. So being able to pass down these things and build a legacy for them to be able to say, hey, one day I want to go back to that place where Dad used to go when he went on that trip with Peter, when he went with Brian, or when he went with Dale. Where did he go? What did he experience? And they'll be able to take those and share that. We can share that kind of knowledge and information with them. That's one of the things I'm really excited about. I'm going to throw up a screen with just some of the stuff from you this year. So talking about who you are, you were able to harvest a heck of a bull this year with your muzzleloader. On top of that, you got everything from a predator. You got some birds this year. I think you got deer, turkey. I don't even know how many species or how many methods of take, but what's funny about you is not only did you score really high on the leaderboard, you didn't even log all of your outdoor experiences this year. So, like you said, oh man, I forgot to log so many times that I actually went to the field. So I just want to go to the judges real quick. So Peter, thanks for the introduction. Judges, you've been able to see some of the work that Peter has done through his questionnaires, through that. So as you look at the resume that Peter has built for this year, what sticks out to you before we jump into the interview? What sticks out to you that makes him a top 3 contender as a finalist for the Outdoorsman of the Year?
Well, that nice bull elk, man, I haven't killed one of those in a long time.
Well,
Come on out.
That's a
Well,
let's go ahead.
Colorado.
Drew, go ahead and reset the countdown. I'm not going to take your time away from you, Peter. I'm going to give you the full 15. Congratulations on it. Judges, take it away.
All right. Well, all right, H. Was taking your first bull elk with the muzzleloader. Now, your first elk ever, or is just that one just your first one with the muzzleloader? And then what made that experience special for you?
Well, this is my first elk with a muzzleloader. I've been blessed to have harvested many elk, mostly rifle, pretty little bow, but I've been lucky enough that I have been able to get a cow and a bull. But this was exceptionally special. It was the hardest hunt I've ever been on. It was 12 miles round trip from the truck to where I shot the bull and then hauling it out. I have a buddy of mine that tried shoulder May 1st, so I wasn't able to archery hunt this year. So I said, well, I'm going to try a muzzleloader, and there happened to be a leftover tag, and so I hunted it. I was archery, and you create your own luck, but there was a lot of luck still involved. And I sat on a watering hole, wallow all day from sun up until 5:30 in the afternoon, and this bull came in 30 yards away, giving me a clean shot.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. I noticed too in a lot of your photos that you post, Peter, that you've already mentioned your wife's with you. And so how often does she get to hunt with you, and what's it like hunting with her? My wife doesn't hunt with me. She's gone a couple times, and it's just not her her cup of tea. But what's it like hunting with her on your part? And tell us maybe one about her hunt this year, that if she was able to harvest something.
Well, funny you should mention that. She's from California, and when I met her, she was a vegetarian. Obviously, she's come a long way. I just have to tell you, it's been a learning process for both of us. Marriage is about give and take, and a lot more given than taking. And she's given so much and enjoys the outdoors. And over the years, she has joined me more and more in these adventures. That huge bear miles. In the afternoon, came back, and we didn't see the bear, although she thinks she saw a bear, and I can't believe how calm. Plus, we've all been there, right? But I just got to tell you, having her and the kids, it's the best thing that could ever happen, I guess, where I'm at in my life. And I'm just lucky to have that in my family.
Now, does she hunt with you, or does she just kind of a partner tagging along?
So like I said, she was a vegetarian, but she's a better shot than my brothers, my dad, and I when it comes to clays. And berries. In our relationship. Then we ended up going out to Utah, and she harvested her first. What'd she shoot? Anyway, she shot myself and sits in. I think she's moving in that direction, but she's not quite there yet.
Yeah, that's nice. Nice to have company too.
That it is.
Well, Peter, to follow up along that line of what we're talking about, in your questionnaire, you said that the highlight of your year was actually a hunt that you didn't even go on. Wife and your daughter, I believe, and their turkey hunt this year. Although you weren't there physically, I'm sure that your influence, and it sounds like a little bit of your luck, rubbed off on them as well. Tell us about that hunt, and tell us why that is your ranking moment for this year.
Well, first of all, being a teacher and just getting people into the outdoors, anytime I can get someone that's never been successful or never been hunting before to experience the success for sure, but just being out there, I love that part. And by weird circumstances, I was actually driving our son back into town for a COVID test. So my wife and my daughter, Lucia, they decided to go hunt turkeys. And they did everything perfectly. I mean, I felt so proud, like maybe someone was listening to me, and in regards to what to do. And then she captured it on video. Now, if you've seen the video, the wheels do fall off at the end in such a funny manner. So I recommend that you watch the video. But the pictures, the stills, you can see a proud daughter, a proud mom. They're connecting with something that my daughter is just completely hooked on, and my wife is there to support her. And they had so much fun. The fact that my daughter harvested a turkey for the first time with a bow, a moving target, and clean shot through the head with a broadhead. Unbelievable.
Nice.
And I'm so glad you recorded it so I could just see just how exciting it was. the excitement that they had. I will never forget that for the rest of my life. I think it is the best hunt I have ever almost been a part of.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That being your highlight is certainly justified.
All right, I have a question for you. Okay, so I love the title of the hunt log you shared called Celebrations and Tears. I think all experienced hunters experienced that day.
So my son, Harry, he is 14 years old. He is just now coming into, just in the last couple of years, to want to hunt and try to harvest an animal. And so we were sitting in the stand together. He had a crossbow. Excuse me. I had a 223 because we had a big coyote problem out. And we were just hanging out, and all of a sudden this coyote pops out right out of the bushes. It's trucking along. I stand up. I did a double tap, took out a coyote, and my son Harry was able to be there with me and experience that. None of my other kids have been able to be there for a coyote. So that was just super exciting. And we were so excited. So then we're sitting there, and dusk is coming, and Harry, he's all ready. I mean, he is so good with that crossbow. He's been practicing. That's something that we really instill, shot placement. And here comes some does. He lines up on a doe, and out of the right side, out of the corner, I see movement, and I stop him. And I go, Harry, hold on. And he gets the first big buck we've seen all season. And Harry's just like shaking. He's so excited. I said, okay, calm down, relax. He's coming in. Breathe. Perfect broadside. Harry squeezes the trigger. It hits high. And then the buck bolts. And it happens so fast. And even though I'm used to it, I could see where the hit was. He wasn't sure where the hit was. And he was so excited. So we climb down and we go over and we're looking for blood. We're looking for the broadhead. The bolt. And we can't find anything. And so he's just despondent. He's just, I can't believe we can't find the deer. And then finally we looked further and further and we found a little bit of blood. So then we decided to come back in the morning. We come back in the morning, we found a little bit more blood, but hours of looking, it dried up and we never found the deer. So he was so devastated. But that's what a learning opportunity about how important shot placement is. And sometimes you do everything right and you still lose an animal, which is gut-wrenching. But if you try and do everything correctly, your success rate is much higher. He was obviously very sad with a couple tears.
Me too.
We can all relate to that. Definitely. Thanks for the story. Thank you.
Yeah, Peter, I have a question too. I noticed on your logs you hunt with a lot of different weapons, and you've killed a lot of different animals. What weapon do you like to use the most, and what is your favorite animal you like to hunt, and why?
I grew up hunting a rifle. The rifle was try to harvest a doe outside. The success rate goes way down, but the exhilaration and the intensity and the connection with nature, because you have to be up close and personal. you develop so much more respect for that animal, and I think it puts it more of an equal playing field. Muzzleloader, my first time this year, that was a lot of fun, but that was also a little stressful. The video that came out of that, and I accidentally put the caps in for the second load before I just completely messed it all up, and it was exciting and it was fun, but I have to say archery is my passion and my love, and it is a blast. Rifle is fun too, at a completely different level. And probably my number one thing, I've been blessed that I've shot a bear and I've shot a caribou, pronghorn deer. To take on with a bow is you have to be on your game and create that luck that you need in order to be successful.
Definitely.
Peter, also in a lot of your posts, aside from the multitude of weapons that you like to use, we see that you're also doing a lot of mentoring and taking first-time hunters or just other individuals into the field with you. You already said you're a teacher. You already said your favorite moment from this year was your daughter and her turkey. So we know that what it means for you to share that experience. So along with hunting technique, what is the life lesson that you hope you're passing along to people when you're out in the field?
So I am really lucky because being in education, I have been able to start an archery program at Hinckley High School when I was a principal there. I have an archery program at Rockridge Elementary where I'm currently the principal. I have taken so many kids and adults on first-time hunts, successful and unsuccessful. This year, I'm blessed. I'm a huntsman for Colorado Parks and Wildlife. So there's a photo right there. The young lady that took her first big game animal ever. I had 3 kids, first-time hunters that were successful this year, including my son Harry, who did manage to get a buck the next time we went out. But what I teach everybody, or hope everyone walks away when I'm hunting with them, is the respect for nature, the respect for the animal. You treat every animal with reverence, and the harvest is not a sole thing. It's definitely a goal and part of it, but the best part is everything leading up to it. And the moment you harvest, that's when the work starts. And then if you do harvest, to respect the animal by taking care of it, using all the meat. And if you get a trophy, that's a bonus. It builds camaraderie, and it brings people together. So that's what I want people to walk away from, is the respect for the animal, the environment, and the opportunity that they are having to connect with nature and to feel the reward of bringing your meat home and feeding your family and maybe making some sausage or something, and then having the stories captured with the HuntLeague app. I can capture that, so I can go back years now and remember those fantastic moments.
All right, guys, I'm gonna jump in now. Peter, thank you so much for your time with us tonight. A well-deserving candidate. Great job answering those different questions. Again, thankful for just the words you just shared with us about using the app. Again, I'm grateful that an outdoorsman like you would be willing to jump on, and that you're logging those memories and that you're keeping those, and you have a tool now to be able to pass some of those things on, share that with others. You can easily grab to somebody a first-time hunter, you can say, hey, look, while we were out in the field, I was logging this. You can share that with them. So it's like, man, I have this now, not just like a story that's like as memories begin to fade, they've got something in hand that they can remember what they were thinking in that moment of truth. So, Peter, again, thank you. A well-deserving finalist. We've got one more. We're going to try to move on so we can get through the night. But thank you for joining us. Congratulations on being a top 3 finisher in 2020. I am excited about what 2020 on that, and we'll be in touch. So thank you, Peter. All right. I've got I want to give you a quick glimpse of a feature that we're getting ready to drop in HuntLeague. This next week, we're going to be releasing an update. So I want to show you some stuff on this screen here where we're adding a couple different features, several different features we're adding several different features that have to do with being able to edit community posts, being able to add hunt logs from years past. Like you can pull, if you're pulling from memory and say, all right, I remember because I have these pictures, I want to put them in a hunt log, but then you'll be able to put it in a hunt log and then share that hunt log with on the community page, like a summary. Again, your information is not shared publicly. But I want to show you right here. This is a quick glimpse of a feature that we are adding in. So I believe this video is about to start showing. But if you tap the hunt log, is that a video? All right, there we go. If you tap the hunt logs in the bottom left corner, you've got something that's your spots or areas. We're getting ready to release this. So it's an area. You can see that CrossFit 7070 area. I just tapped it. If you scroll across, you can see how it's listed, what unit it's in. Across the top, see recent use. If there's a check mark, it means they logged a success there. You can click on the photo that was associated with it. If you're sharing a lease with a group of people, you can see, well, when was this stand last used? There's tons and tons of valuable features. That little red icon showed you the outline of an area. So if you want, maybe you're a backcountry hunter and you want year over year to check out a few different areas, this will be a tool that you can use to start seeing, well, how often am I in this area where I'm seeing something, or how often am I successful in this area? I know all of us as hunters have the ability to become creatures of habit, and some habit, actually becoming creatures of habit, can bite us in the butt, because the definition of insanity, like expecting different results but doing the same thing over and over and over again. With this areas tool, I would hope that it would help people be able to navigate and make better decisions in the field about where am I successful, what times of year am I successful, when is going to be the best time to hunt an area. And we're going to have different statistics and things available as we continue to build that section out. But you'll be able to outline one, create it, share it with others. You'll see, you can see my logs versus my success was lower than the other users that app or that area was shared with. Again, that is not publicly shared. That is, if you've got a group of buddies or a hunting party, you can choose to share an area with a single buddy or a hunting party that you have created. There is no public sharing of GPS information available within the HuntLeague app. All right, we've talked a lot about hunting. I'm going to show you a quick hunting video real fast while we cut away and get our last finalist on the line. Stay tuned. Throw it to me. All right. That if you ever want to see a really funny blooper reel, you should see me running up right after Dave makes that shot, just screaming, fist pumping. It was a little bit crazy there in the field. So a lot of fun. We were getting him on the line. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty getting his mic up and running, but we'll show you a picture of him. I may call him and put him on speakerphone so that we can get his voice a part of the conversation. But our last finalist is from Oregon. So we've got Wolfgang Troxel. Now, Wolfgang Troxel might be the most manly name. I think you might win the Outdoorsman of the Year just solely based on your name. So well done, your parents and your lineage for raising you, Wolfgang Troxel. But that's a picture of a spring bear that you were able to harvest. I have no idea if you're an annual bear hunter, if that's your first bear. I'm excited to hear more about your story. In addition to that, we've got some other stuff from the year where you face some challenges for sure in Oregon this year with all the wildfires and things like that. I'm excited to hear parts of that story. You were able to harvest a bull elk this year. Your per Wolfgang, I'm gonna go ahead and go ahead and tell us, you've been able to look at his questionnaire, his body of work. He had, I believe, 20.
I mean, to me, his bear, I mean, in Oregon, there's no baiting, only spot. Pretty.
For me, it's really that I want to hear more.
Deep into it. He's definitely an outdoorsman.
Throw Wolfgang up on the slide. We may end up having technical difficulties with old Wolfgang. That's unfortunate. We'll give it one more minute. Finalists. So some of you guys have heard we've been running the competition. We've got finalists. Well, what do the finalists get if you take home the title of Hunt League Outdoorsman of the Year? Well, this year it's a 50, and it's from different companies. It's every one of these guys are hunting in different environments, different terrain, what their needs are. Every one of us might have something. I know if somebody asked me, what would I choose right now? I would really like to get a lightweight sleeping bag, maybe a down backcountry. That might not be what Trapper John needs. But, so I wanted to make sure that if they were looking and eyeing one of the new bows that just came out at ATA, if they were looking at a new rifle or new scope to put on it, I know we just got off the line with Peter. Peter was saying he's really hoping that this year will be his year to draw a bighorn sheep tag here in Colorado. If he were to get that lucky, he said one of the things that he would want would be a new spotting scope, something that he could take in, maybe one of the big 85 millimeter Vortex razors or something like that. I think asked him what would be on the top of his list. He said if he could do anything with that 1500, he would love to do an out-of-state archery elk hunt. Maybe look at Colorado, Montana. He's like, I would love to do an out-of-state hunt and actually hunt Rocky Mountain elk he loves hunting Roosevelt elk, but he's like, I've never had the opportunity to do that. So that's a bucket list thing for him. So he said, I would love to put my money in towards that. Trapper John, he was all over the place. That guy said his number one thing would be a $1,500 airboat, but we'll figure it out. I think he wanted a sheep hunt, all sorts of other really cool stuff. I think he's got his eye on doing, you heard him say a bucket list hunt for him would be to harvest a big mature mule deer. One last chance. Okay, so we're still not up and running. So I think this is going to have to be a to be continued. We're probably going to continue this off the books. I don't think we're going to be able to jump back into kind of record or go live with this, but we'll have our judges connect with Wolfgang, kind of ask questions, and we're going to make our announcement tomorrow for who will be crowned the HuntLeague 2020 Outdoorsman of the Year. Now, as kind of a bonus, each of the finalists, I'm going to send a custom iron will broadhead. So, Drew, go ahead and throw that up. I've got a custom iron will broadhead for each of the finalists. This is what I hunted with last year. It comes in a custom box. It's HuntLeague, Hunt with Confidence. You've got HuntLeague right there built into the broadhead. I'm hoping that between these guys, some of them are going to use this broadhead more than once to harvest an animal. We'll get some great pictures in the future, but that's an iron will broadhead, which in my opinion, I don't know that you can get a better broadhead on the market. We had them custom make that for our finalists. So we'll be sending one of those to each of our finalists this year. So congratulations, finalists, for sitting tight.
We could do a couple. Just a suggestion, maybe we can use some of his questions from the finalist questionnaire to give the people watching a little idea who he is.
I think that's. I know. Bear hunt this year. So if you're better picture, you've got the one when he
made it
and she was able to get. I mean, that's a great blacktail. But on top of that, he said that's the you know, in 2019, he picked up a bow for the first time, and he said in his community post, he kind of wrote that bow after trying several years to harvest elk with a rifle, which typically, you know, you're more successful with a rifle than you are going to be. First year of bow hunting, Roosevelt called in that beautiful. After having shot such a massive bull on your first year of archery, or you know, is it exhilarating because you found after hunting for years with a rifle and never being successful that you know, that you're able to repeat success and go back to back and shoot a Roosevelt? From people that I've talked to, shooting a Roosevelt bull is no easy task, and so for him to do that back to back years, that's pretty impressive. Brian, you might have something to say about that, because I know you've chased elk and you know the difficulties of them. I know, I guess all of the judges. So
Yeah, they're tough.
What else stuck out to you guys? Gang. I know this year, Brian, when we were out, I mean, it wasn't just Oregon dealing with wildfires. We had California, we had haze. You know, you would have been dealing with it too, Spike Bull. You know, Keith, you'd have been dealing with it. Did you have much cloud?
Keep California where it is.
Hey,
Guys,
I have a
we already-
question for you. You had mentioned
Yeah.
Come
if I
on,
win.
Brian.
That's right, buddy. You said if I win, I'd love to have a jacket embroidered, screen printed with the HuntLeague logo on it on my back. With the 2020 Outdoorsman of the Year on the front of it. I was wondering, are you going to wear that to bed?
I thought Jared might get it done in camo so I can wear it when I go hunt.
No, okay.
A little free free advertisement there for him.
Right, yeah. Well, good.
Wolfgang,
I
we're
like
gonna
it.
go ahead and throw 15 minutes on the clock and get you through. So I'm glad that you were able to connect. Sorry it took so long. 15 minutes on the clock. You probably heard some of it, but you
Love to hunt bears. I go every year, multiple locations, and I wanted you to tell me about that hunt, because I know in Oregon you can't bait. You're either going to spot and stock or call it in. I'm aware that you called it in. Tell me about that experience, and have you ever done it before? And are you looking forward to doing it again?
That was my first bear. I finally went there the day before. I got in there late that night, and I bumped 2 bears out of there. So that next day, I got in there about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Got up. I had a couple of does feeding about 200 yards to my right, kind of behind me. They took off, and about 5 minutes later, he showed up, and he was standing in that spot.
Nice. Did he? Were you doing like distress calls or what?
And he turned around. He didn't run. He just started walking back out. And I had one window right behind me. It was a hard shot to make, but I got turned around. He was at 30 yards. He stepped in that window. And get away from town and just enjoy each other's company mostly. She went in there last year. I don't know if you can see this buck behind me or not. That was her 2019 buck. And this buck that's on the screen right now, she killed this last year. They were 40 yards apart.
Nice.
Would she happen to be available right now? I think we'd like to interview her. Your spot on the table here.
Okay, I have a quick question here. Okay, that community post with your wife said that that was 2 years in a row for her on deer. I also see that you with back-to-back archery bulls in 19 and 20. Looks like you killed a monster in 19 and then a spike this year. Was that experience, what was that like for you? And then was that a letdown for you or a confidence booster knowing you were able to go back-to-back?
It was actually more of a confidence booster to me, knowing that I just went back-to-back. My first 2 years archery hunting, I killed the bull both years. And it was definitely a confidence booster. In that herd. Bull, he's a I'm going to guess about 325, somewhere between 325 and 340. He's a really good bull, but with the year I had this year during elk season, I took the first legal bull that walked into me.
So
That's great.
I would
That's
assume, and I would assume that the year you had this year maybe I'm familiar with that. You know, my house burnt down in a wildfire several years ago, so I kind of know the feeling and how it can affect you. Is that what I'm hearing, that wildfires were kind of affecting your season this year?
Yeah, the first 2 weeks of the season, it was out every chance I could, but there was no big time movement. All the elk I had on trail cameras and everything was all at night, from 10 o'clock at night to 3:30 in the morning. And then I finally, and just about that time, we had a big fire start. And when that fire started, BLM shut down almost all around here. Land to get to, and I've got 180 acres outside of Ashland that belongs to my family. I can hunt that. There's a herd elk that comes in there once in a while, but it's not very often. This year I just got lucky with that public land closure. I was able to get on that private land and get that spike full. Put some more meat in the freezer this year.
Did you call him in, or what was the hunt like?
He turned and looked at me, but I knew that the rest of the herd was just down the hill from him. And he didn't come in real quick, but it probably 30, 45 minutes into calling, he turned and came to see where I was at and what I was. I finally convinced him.
Nice.
Well, you get all the brownie points in the world for shooting a spike elk. That's my favorite. Every time.
Yeah, it was kind of the same situation. I was out trying to spot and stalk. I got eyes on some elk. They were about 250 yards out from me. And about called a couple times. There was quite a few bulls in that herd. So I just sat there. I waited a few minutes. I gave him a bugle. He turned around and looked at me again. Waited a minute. I cow called. Nothing. I bugled one more time. He walking in. He bugled a couple of times. He got to about 35 yards, and I ranged him. And I had another tree between me and him. I ranged it real fast. It was at 30, and as soon as he broke that plane, I came to full draw. And I started shaking. That bull I killed in 2019, I was calm as could be. And then that 5 point this year, I started shaking. In my head, I was confident. I knew I was going to make a good shot, even though I was shaking. I released. As soon as it made impact with him,
Nice.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That is definitely unfortunate. Okay,
yeah.
sorry to make
so
you relive that one.
That's all right. What I learned from that was, if you're shaking, if you're not 100% confident, don't let that arrow fly.
It's awesome.
For sure.
Okay, I have
Well,
one
you know,
here. In the post from your 2019 elk hunt, you said that you made the switch from a rifle to bow. What was that transition like?
Position. Me. Bow, just and I can shoot and help me in my hunting. Oregon, elk. We get to hunt and by myself, and I killed one buck in that 6 years. No, no. Yeah, when I switched to my bow, I became a lot more. I think I've killed 4 animals with my. I'm
Yeah, definitely more of an adrenaline rush using the bow. Experiences, successes, and failures in the field. Covers that was a hunting.
as far as the disappointment of my late archery deer season this year, there's plenty of does. There was no bucks, no buck signs, so I switched it up and I hunted a whole new spot. Just a lot of good bucks. Just a lot of open country. Doe. So where she, every time I turned around, they were.
All right, we have about a minute and 30. Who wants to know here? Do you have any special underwear, a magic hat on for good luck in the field, and any secrets to success that?
Honestly, one of the biggest things I learned this year, that spot I moved into here, it was actually in a fresh burn. That fire that same area I hunted for deer this year, and there was more deer else my whole life.
Treasure troves of animals as soon as the fire's out.
Yeah.
Now you got a good place to go this year.
Yeah, it'd be nice and green this year.
All right, thank you so much.
Wolfgang, you have anything else that you just want to share with the panel of judges? I mean, we're finishing up our evening here with you, but to meet you, hear your story, hunt logs in the HuntLeague app. So anything you or judges?
Yeah, no, I'm here. I'm a real person. I got a wife, 2 kids. My daughter's 3. My son's gonna be a year old for next week. Sorry. Share. I'm just glad I got to be a part of this, and really excited that.
A lot this year, overcoming the wildfire. and campers and just, people are pushing animals a lot. Like brings you success. I hope that dream hunt of being able to go out of state or, go hunt a Rocky Mountain elk somewhere will come to fruition here sooner than later. I don't know if you heard while you were kind of scrambling, but these are some of the best broadheads made. It's engraved. Little secret for people is there are 2 of those hanging out in the woods right now, and if you find 2 of the hike, and so there's 2 of those HuntLeague things in the wild. So in 2021. So congratulations, and thank you for joining us. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but I'm glad it worked out where you can kind of jump in, join the panelists. We're gonna jump off though, and I want to thank the judges, all of you judges that have hung with us. I mean, this is over 2 hours now that you guys have been on the line. That's a big ask and that's the kind by you. You can put your email in. It will send you a link to be able become more confident in the gear, equipment, the places that they hunt, the stories that they have, being able to share that with others, being able to give some of those tools and resources to first-time hunters to introduce them to what who, in fact, will be crowned and wear the title Outdoorsman of the Year for 2020. So we'll reconvene, judges, but as for the live feed, thank you.